finds out what exactly is going on the offensive, no one is going to want to stand in the way. One weapon that inspires fear in the enemy is the AS-90 self-propelled artillery mount with its enormous firepower. Just imagine what power 9 of these British systems could do.
We were attracted to this gun initially because it just looked right. It looked like a gunner's gun, and that has proved to be the case.
For comparison, to destroy a target, a tank has to get fairly close to the enemy, while the AS-90 just needs the coordinates in order to send a hail of destructive shells down on the enemy from 19 miles away. Such a far-reaching strike range means that the vehicle can hide in places the enemy can't get to and continuously fire at different targets without even changing positions. This is thanks to the fact that unlike many artillery systems, the AS-90 can freely rotate its turret while the barrel can reach steeper angles. Speaking of the barrel, the 155mm gun from BAE Land Systems makes up the business end of this weapon. It's equipped with an ejector and a muzzle brake to increase accuracy, as well as an electric guidance drive.
It's seen as the epitome of all gunnery. You know, you're in control of everything happening at the target end.
There's just one thing about the gun. It has a very low rate of fire, just 2 shots per minute. That's 3 to 4 times less than most others of its kind. But don't jump to conclusions just yet. There's more here than meets the eye. That's because it has a unique automatic loader that can be put in a special mode of operation. When activated, the AS-90 fires 3 projectiles within 10 seconds that are perfectly accurate. Such a devastating attack guarantees the destruction of any potential target with no chance of survivors. The same system can be seen with the French howitzer Caesar, but that model can fire 6 shells. By the way, all warheads are also adjustable according to all NATO standards.
We will donate AS-90 guns to Ukraine.
The AS-90 turned out to be so perfectly balanced that it replaced all other installations. Of course, that created another specific problem. It's very difficult to modify. Each of the weapon's details are perfectly matched and aligned to one another, so any significant modification throws off the howitzer's balanced design. The only thing that's changed in the last 20 years is the slight lengthening of the gun and its caliber, which boosted its firing range, but not by much. So despite all of the AS-90's advantages, it had nowhere to go, so the UK began working on other weapon platforms. Nevertheless, this artillery will significantly increase Ukraine's defense potential, something it's sure to do in all its glory.
It's quite effective, mainly on troops in open. It's not so effective against armour, but certainly we can deliver a good rate of fire on the ground at any one time.
Sure, self-propelled guns are certainly cool, but they're still relatively slow, clumsy, and heavy, unlike the Stormer BMP. By the way, along with other armored vehicles, Ukraine was provided with more than 200 units of these weapons. The Stormer is no ordinary vehicle that can only transport infantry. It's a true high-speed killer of equipment, not only on the ground, but also in the air. The tracked armored personnel carrier, weighing about 13 tons, has relatively powerful protection and can accelerate up to 50 miles per hour. Its cruising range of 400 miles allows it to go on long-range missions and provide cover for infantry exactly where it's needed. These armored vehicles are armed with Starstreak surface-to-air missiles. This is a projectile consisting of 18-inch arrow-like separating elements. They're made of tungsten and crammed with explosives, which according to the developers should enhance its lethality. Simply put, it's like a shotgun blast that can hit a target 3 miles away. And when it's aimed with a laser beam, it becomes incredibly accurate. On top of that, the projectile can reach speeds of 2,600 miles per hour, 3 times faster than the speed of sound. No passing aircraft would be able to dodge such accuracy and speed, making the Stormer a very dangerous weapon. A passive thermal imaging system allows for the detection of helicopters and other aircraft at a distance of 11 miles. That's more than enough time to aim and shoot. The Stormer has turned out to be no less successful in development than the AS-90, and at one point they even found themselves on opposite sides of the conflict. And while the artillery mount can't undergo normal modifications, the armored vehicle is so versatile that it has 10 variations with different sets of weapons. However, only the version with anti-aircraft missiles is going to Ukraine, and military experts have noted that Stormer HVM can only fight low-flying targets because they're quite bulky and poorly protected. Britain's aid package attempted to cover all the possible needs of Ukraine's defense forces, both armored cars and howitzers. But these only perform certain tasks and may not always be useful. However, there is a compromise in the form of the Challenger 2.
Britain is in discussions to send up to 10 tanks to Ukraine in a major step up in support against the Russian invasion.
It's the main battle tank of the British ground forces and one of the heaviest tanks of our time.
And it is the British heavyweight champion.
Its 75-ton weight is due to the fact that its turret and hull are covered with an armor codenamed Dorchester, the details of which have been carefully hidden. All that's known is that it consists of a special alloy of metals that combine high stability and flexibility. It's incredibly strong and covers the entire turret area, causing bullets to simply bounce off. There was even a moment in history when 15 RPG shells bounced off the Challenger without penetrating the armor. And that's saying something. Optionally, Romor dynamic protection modules can be installed along the sides of the hull and turret in combination with lattice screens. All of these factors combined have resulted in the world's strongest tank, but such protection comes at a cost. Its colossal weight makes the Challenger slow and clumsy. If it gets stuck in the mud, it's virtually impossible to pull out, plus it can't drive over most bridges.